This translation appeared in editions in 1650, 1651, 1652. The last two editions included an appendix in which Wall exchanged views with the reader and emphasized the millenarian importance of his work. Again, these are people that thought the world was ending in the 1600s. All right? Some say it was the second coming of JC around that time. Some say 1666, 1655. Some say it was the climax of their world at that time. Like, what does all that mean? But now you're like, you got to get, sometimes if you want to get a little deeper in the mind of a hijack, these are the type of discussions you're going to, have, man. What is a millenarian? Now it says, and that it should help bring the conversion of the Jews. And I'm thinking, like, when in history have you heard about the Jewish people being forced converted to Christianity? Even in the worst of what they, talk about their history and all that, you know, conversion to Christianity ain't really part of it. Or else you'll see a bunch of Jewish people in all these Christian churches. You'll see a church filled with Jewish people that have been forced converted. In their neighborhoods, you'll see Christian churches all over the place. Like, that forced conversion never happened. But these Jews we're talking about, these Hebrews we're talking about, have been converted to Christianity. You go to the Hebrew ghettos, Negro ghettos today, you're going to see the evidence, the proof of the forced conversion of this generational mentality, brainwashing. Only takes a couple generations, man, and pretty soon you can't let it go. You can't let it go, right? So this is what we're dealing with today. So when you talk about the conversion of Jews to Christianity, and then you're talking about the conversion of these, Indians to Christianity, right? That lines up. Think about the three groups that have been converted to Christianity at the highest rate, all right, in real time. You got the Indians, you got black people, right? Negroes, right? Indians and Negroes seem to be synonymous with conversion to Christianity. And then, according to this document here, Manasseh ben Israel in his world, Manasseh ben Israel in his world, man, popping off. You got these Hebrews that are being meditated on, to be converted. They're trying to figure out how to convert Hebrews to Christianity, and they're linking them up with the Indians, and they're linking them up with so-called black people. So, it's a body bag for the illusion. They're talking about the two greatest questions they have is what became of the tribes of Israel, and where did the Indians come from? So they're clearly linking Israelites with Indians. And no matter how many times we talk about that, how many years we've been talking about this, it never gets old, because it's mind blasting to think about Israelites being American Indians, so-called, right? And both being converted to Christianity. And this Ame'rican Holocaust and this genocide on our people and this invasion of these American Indians is synonymous now with these tribes of Israel, based on our recon, a lot of other researchers recon, all these books in the 1600s, 1700s, all the great work from, Drop Nation, man. We see clearly. So all you got to do is link in the Negro factor, to the Israelite factor, the Negro factor to the American Indian factor, and you have the continuation, whether we're talking about, civil rights, Black Panther Party, all the situations, man, popping off right here at home in America, man. But those are the two greatest questions, man. It says, Winslow said that there are two great questions which have troubled ancient and modern writers and men of the greatest depth and ability, the geniuses in this stuff, right? What happened to these tribes of Israel? They say 10 tribes, 12 tribes, 13 tribes. What happened to the Israelites? I'm asking you, because I can't brush over this. This is the greatest question. These are the greatest questions that are troubling. And they're calling this a crisis. The Indian problem, they're calling it a problem. it's affecting, it's troubling men of the greatest depth, the greatest intelligence, the greatest academic abilities. What happened to the Israelites? What happened? Should we stop, with Shalmaneser or Nebuchadnezzar, leading, Israelites off to Babylonian captivity? Should we pick it right up with the David Soslan flow, King David of Babylon and Georgia and all that? Should we talk more Georgia flow, as we get into Prester John 1:24 next, man? Look out for us, man. So what happened to the Israelites? Where did these Nagas come from? Since we know that they're the same people. Did they migrate from Africa like they try to tell us all black people come from, right? Were they already here in Americas? Did they migrate from lands in the Pacific or other lands, that are now sunken beneath the water pre-Atlantis? You know what I'm saying? These are great questions. We don't purport to have all the answers, but we will ask the right questions. And clearly they're the right questions if these are the two greatest questions that have troubled ancient and modern writers. Now, skipping ahead a little bit before we get back into Co and the dragon, man, the good dragon at the center of the world, I want to give a special shout out in Ahab to Enter the Stars. And really, before I even do that, what I'm saying, I want to give the Ahab, man, to the Naga that dropped this link, because I was looking everywhere for just at least a summary, just looking for a summary of this children's book that cost $500 or whatever. And the bro Michael Disentawong dropped that link to Enter the Stars. So I want to give the AI to Michael Disentawong, and all the cons, man. Israel, Isaiah Brown, man, you dropping that drop. I appreciate you. All the cons, man, over here, man. Ahaja, Shermante, Michael Brown, Junior Chavez, Michael Levisk, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna get back into these comments as well. So, before I do that, man, me, just know that some people are signing off on this spot in Arizona or California. Whatever we call it, it's the same land. Cali, Utah, all this is Judah, all this is Khalifa, you know what I'm saying? Arizona, Four Corners, Colorado, all this, New Mexico, Mexico, all this is, one land, Managa. But yeah, let's, first of all, as they bring up millenarians, of course, we've been talking millenarian, get the last drop. It's interesting that they also call this the Kilia or Kilia. Kiliaism, sorry, millennialism. God, all right. Woo, English, man. All right, this English is crazy. Millennialism. All right, millennialism. All right, we got millenarians, millennialism, and millenarianism. All right, these are all variations of the same crazy hijack city. We in the mind of a hijack when we start talking millenarians. Sometimes referred to as Kiliaism. Kiliaism sounds a little like Kilia, right? I mean, for those that are surfing the wave. Who's Kilia again? Kilia. Yeah, boss. Kilia, also known as Daniel. And Daniel had a lot of prophetic writings, I believe that Revelations gets a lot of its flow, a lot of reflections, duplications coming right out of the Daniel flow. He is also the second son of King David, for those that don't know. That Daniel, the one that got, put in captivity, by this, Nebuchadnezzar flow and all that, Daniel was the son of David. And that's why he was such a prized hostage, But he also was a prized, he was raised to a high station, because of his abilities. Kilib, it says, means perfection. Perfection of the Father. And because there was some discrepancy with Abigail, who was pregnant through David, They didn't know if she was pregnant with David or her first husband, Nabal. She was a widow. She was a widow when David married her. So some said that David would have been Nabal's son, or excuse me, Kilia would have been Nabal's son. So what did HaWah do? HaWah arranged that Kilia would resemble David. HaWah made Kilia, or Daniel, resemble David so much that his name reflects that he is the perfection of David. This is why he was raised to such a high station, why he had all this power, and also maybe why they're calling this Kiliaism, since we're talking prophecy. Huh? Okay. Kiliaism might have a lot to do with Kilia, right? I mean, we're asking the right questions. That's all. We're just asking the right questions. So I'm putting all this out there, as we pop off, because again, we're talking about biblical prophecies. We're talking about the book of Revelation, right? And you don't get too much more prophetic than Kilia, right? You don't get too much prophetic than Daniel. But you will have to know that Daniel is Kilia. And what's it got to do with the second coming when you talk millenarian? Well, based on the book of Revelation, some believe that JC would return in 1666. Let's get bigger. Right. Which corresponds with the biblical number of the beast. See, I had that in the back of my head, but the fact that they just coming out and saying it. And remember, the ones are sometimes eyes. Remember, they added 1,000 years, and some of these things would have like a lowercase I, 666. I mean, that I pretty much standing for Jesus, right? So here with me, kind body back for the illusion. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just serving away with y'all. So is 1666 really I, or the year of Izu 666? And it's just why corresponding with the biblical number of the beast. Eeksy weeksies, right? Eeksy weeksy. Is there Christos? Is there Christos just the beast, man? I mean, I heard about the 6 carbon, 6 electron flow, all that, but interesting, right? While it was also common to refer to 1,000 years. Maybe because they're adding 1,000 years in the timeline, maybe that's what they were talking about in the prophecy of Revelation with this 1,000 years after JC. Maybe they were just saying that they will be adding 1,000 years because they added over 1,000 years. Love to add it totally for the manco to your chronologies. Okay. Millenarians 666. Okay, all right. Okay, let's get back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, where we leave off? Where we leave off? And again, shout out to Richard H. Popkin, man, popping off. All right, again, last time we were discussing James Adair, and again, Cootie Mayo done some extensive work. Love to Cootie Mayo. Make sure you're in his classroom. He brought out some great James Adair drop, connecting with the views of the Hebrews. Let's see, published his History of American Indians in London, 1775. Adair has been trading with the Indians in the South English colonies of America for 40 years. In his work, he offered detailed linguistic, cultural, social, and historical evidence that the Indians were Hebrews. We're not talking Jewish. Ish means kind of like, right? Are you smart or are you smart-ish? Are you strong or are you strong-ish? Are you Hebrew or Hebrew-ish? I mean, you decide. Are you a code keeper or do you keep the code-ish? You know what I mean? The historical evidence that the Indians were Hebrews, because the Jewish are not talking about being no Indians. When's the last time the Jewish had a conference about being Indians and how America owes them all their gold back and they want to get their land back in America? Huh? No, no, right. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about being converted to Christianity. So when you make a correlation between Indians and Jews, you're not talking Jewish because these Jewish were not converted to Christianity. You're talking Hebrew. You're talking Negroes. I'm talking about you. And Adair got the historical evidence. He got the recon and the receipts that these indigenous Nagas in America are Hebrew. Kalelus. Based on his close observation of their speech and practices. So getting down here, it says then Adair contended that from his most exact observations he made over 40 years that the Indians lineally descended from Israelites. All right, that's not Jewish. The Jewish don't call themselves Israelites, do they? His evidence of the Hebrew characteristics of the Indians went on for 400s of pages. At the time, Adair's evidence was taken most seriously by American historians. They weren't playing like Hannah Adams, who wrote an important history of the Jews and appended some of Adair's text. Manasseh's Hope of Israel was reissued. Some of the religious thinkers involved in the American Revolution saw Adair's findings as justification for the provincial interpretation of what was happening in the colonies. Charles Crawford, an English nobleman who had moved to America and who became an important abolitionist and millenarian. They thought the world was ending in 1600s. They thought JC was coming back for the second coming in 1666. Saw America's role as that of bringing about final providential events. Now, they keep saying providence, providence. Let's go to the dictionary right quick. And I just want to get clarity of providence. You know, we know it has something to do with God, right? Creator, right? Providence. Providence. Okay. How do you spell providence? Man, hold on, man. My bad. I didn't pass the spelling, man. I didn't pass the spelling. I think I came in second place one time. Providential. Let me get that right. Oh, Provi. Okay, somebody should have said that. Why do y'all say that? I can't be the only one spelling stuff. Can't be the only one spelling stuff. Let's go. The act of providing or preparing for future use or application. All right, so it has to do with the future, like prophecy, providence for war is the best prevention of it. Foresight, timely care, particularly active foresight. It's got a lot to do with prophecy, huh? In theology, the care and superintendence which HaWah exercises over his creatures. What? The care that the care HaWah exercises over his creatures, the superintendence, the supervision. He that acknowledges a creation and denies a providence involves himself in palpable contradiction. Because if there's a creator, then somebody's watching over you, caring for you, supervising you, right? Some people don't want to be supervised. They just want to be lawless. They don't want no code. They don't want no parents saying, don't eat that crap. Eat chips all day. They just want to eat, Skittles all day, right? They don't want no supervision. They don't want no accountabilities. He that acknowledges a creation or creator and denies providence involves himself in palpable contradiction, for the same power which causes a thing to exist is necessary to continue its existence. Okay. Divine providence is often understood God himself. By divine providence is also understood God himself. So when they talk divine providence, they're talking HaWah. Got it. Let's go. Okay. Okay. So America's role as being that of bringing about the final providential or foresight, prophetic HaWah's prophecy events before the millennium. And again, for them, we're talking about their 1,000 years, however we interpret it, the freeing of slaves. Now, and try to factor in Hebrews instead of Jewish people. And, the freeing of slaves is supposed to happen before the Creator, before these events prophesied through these prophets, through the Creator, right? So the freeing of slaves, the freeing of black people, let's say that for now, okay? The finding of the lost tribes and the conversion of the Jews, the finding of you Nagas in America is supposed to happen before the end of days. And the conversion of the Jews. Now, this is where they're in Hijack City because they have their own interpretation of what conversion and what you're converting to. To them, it means converting you to JC, right? To us, it might mean converting us away from the hijack. Perhaps the finding of us, in our sad state of disregard and our idolatries and out of coldness. Perhaps we will be getting back in code, right? That reminds me of Hosea 3. Israel will return, seek the Creator, and Kandawi. You returning is you converting, not to the hijack, but to the code, back to HaWah, back to your direct flow. That's just, perspective, but more significant, Crawford indicated was that a rabbi who converted to Christianity came to Philadelphia to live with lost tribe Indians. The lost tribe Indians, you don't see that all the time. The lost tribe of Indians, we're talking Jewish or we're talking Hebrew, to prepare to lead them to Jerusalem. Apparently, the converted rabbi gave up and became a Catholic official instead. So they have their perspective of what a conversion is. They have the perspective of this foresight, this prophecy, and it doesn't really add up because they're substituting, syncretizing, fusing stuff together that don't belong together. They're changing our images. Their lie is so deep that their prophecies never will add up because they're substituting themselves into all these roles. They're calling themselves these Jews. They're calling themselves and these Indians. Today, a Native American looks like them. Today, the Jews, the Hebrews look like them, right? All this is now, we're now just black from Africa. That's it. We African American. We lost our Indian superiority. We're no longer the head and not the tail. Let's get a little more before we get in this code. The good dragon. Who's calling him the good dragon? And what does the dragon got to do with the center of the world? It's crazy talk. Hey, free Phineas, man. Free Phineas, man. Just pieces that we got last time, just belly flopping. Then Boudinot wrote The Star in the West. And we got that before, pointing out that the Indians and lost tribes would lead the way into the millennium by returning to Jerusalem. So again, you are returning. You're returning. Don't it say that in Hosea? Hosea 3, after you've been this adulterous, man. I mean, the children of Israel love baking raisin cakes, man. Shout out to Yosef the Real. We about to do a listen party, man. Been long awaited. The Yosef the Real album is dropping. He's giving it to the tribe from the hardball. One of his songs got to do with these raisin cakes and cakes of raisins, which I think is amazing. So, hey, look out for Yosef the Real, man. That's all I got to say. The bro is in the studio, man, and creating the sounds, the vibration for the tribe to vibe to, man. So, hey, eat the squad. Hey, shout out to all the cons, man. Tribal music is on Coon. We on the rise, man. So the children of Israel shall sit solitary. So when you are in your sad state, right, you are in solitary. You don't have no king. You don't got no, I mean, forget providential anything. You're not even, you don't feel like you're being watched. You don't feel like you're being cared for anymore. You don't got no prince. Ain't no sacrifices of righteousness. Ain't nothing because you out of cold. But afterwards shall the children of Israel return. So they talking about you returning to Jerusalem or converting to what? You're converting to seeking. To seek is to desire. You're converting to desire. Your heart is being converted to desiring HaWah. HaWah. And David. You're now desiring David again. Because David is the shepherd that leads the flock. We have one shepherd forever. And this is in the end of days. So we're talking about foresight. We're talking about prophecy. We're talking about one shepherd forever. I mean, let's get Ezekiel 34. Wow. This ain't the time to be lost. This is the time to utilize the basics that we've, uncovered and, sifted through, separated the wheat from the tare, Managa, the art of being hijack free, all these things you learn. Now it's time to put it together, kind of flow. It's time to flow. It's time to flow. You know what I mean? Be water. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't be lost right now, man. You should be being water. Doesn't mean you don't have bad days or you're not going through a hard time or you're not trying to figure something out. You're trying to get some more monies because you need to feed your family and be good. We're all trying to create really creative revenue streams right now so that we're not all bogged down doing 9 to 5s and selling ourselves out like this, man. Like we should be able to be the head again. So we need each other's support. You see a Naga doing something, support it. You see a Naga popping off, support it. You see a Naga doing their businesses, support it. Because this Naga's trying to be free. This Naga is free because they're making that leap of faith, man. So we have to see clearly. And when you see that you help that Naga help you, and how we can be there for each other, then we see clearly. We don't need Hijack City, man. It's an illusion that you need Hijack City. HaWah said in verse 22, therefore I will save my flock. He didn't say I'm going to send JC. Did he? Did he? Because you've been scattered, huh? So you have to return. So who's the flock? Jewish or Judah? And they shall now no more be a prey. Because we're talking about being forced converted, right? And I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd, not two, not three, not four. We got in Hosea 3, you're going to be seeking HaWah. By doing that, you are keeping the code. Exodus 20 got us in code. Don't kill, don't steal, most over everything. Keep your Shabbat. No vanity. Honor your frame and your shaper. No covetous in your heart bone. You know what I'm saying? And I will set up one shepherd. How many? HaWah didn't create confusion. You only get confused when you're out of code. This don't say Jesus will be shepherd over them. This don't say convert to Christianity, my naga. This don't say look for Muhammad. This says one shepherd. Is that Yahweh? Because if it was, I'm sure Ezekiel would tell us. And he shall feed them. Who's going to feed us? Even my servant David. It don't say David's son 2,000 years later or some distant future of David. David, he shall feed them. He shall be their shepherd. I, HaWah, will be their power, and my servant David, prince among them. Whew, I have spoken. Managa, that's a wrap. If you want your covenant of peace, you're going to have to see clearly. You're going to have to start seeking. You're going to have to come to a conclusion that the code is all we need and all we know. Money, guns, this type of security blanket, whatever we thinking, is nothing compared to the covenant of peace, and will cause evil beasts to cease out of your land. Beast? That's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. Because don't their second coming and their JC, their Christus, have to do with the beast? And maybe that's, HaWah saying, I will cause this, their anointed, their beast to cease out of your land. They thought their beast was going to come back in 666, right? Number of the beast. They got 1,000-year grace period to pop off or something. Or they're going to create them 1,000 years to force some type of revelation because they're doing wicked, evil spells. I will cause evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness, sleeping in the woods. And I will make them and the places around my hill Baruch a blessing. I will cause the shower to come down in season, and there shall be showers of Baruch blessings, right? So when's the last time you got showered by Baruch? When's the last time? That don't come without a covenant of peace. Read Psalms 89 to get more on that covenant. And that don't come without you seeking the Creator. Because HaWah's going to save you personally. He gave you a shepherd. One shepherd. That is David. God. Which is why Hosea or Joshua or Yeshua, the real Joshua, is over here talking about you returning. Seeking the Creator and David. Why? Because that's the one shepherd forever. And you're the flock. So they will refer to you as the righteous shoot or righteous branch. This branch is the flock. And the flock needs a shepherd. And there's no confusion on who is the one shepherd, Managa. Not two, not three, the one shepherd. Wow. So their millenarianisms, is a reflection of our hope, of our redemption, of our converting back to code keepers. Returning, right? Returning. Israel will return. We are returning. You see what I'm saying? They just reflecting you. Israel will return. Returning to Jerusalem. Returning to the Creator, which is a return to our land, our inheritance, our covenant of peace. Then we went and talked about the Afghan lost tribes, and we connected the Afghan back to the Benjamites, right? All right. Okay. So this is getting to the fall of this theory, this Jew-Indian theory. Jefferson politically took the Indians out of divine history. We're talking about Thomas Jefferson. Let's get it back. We're talking about the Louisiana Purchase. Yeah, some great drop. I'm just belly flopping, but converting Indians to make them leaders in the millennium. Don't they convert our people now to make them the leaders in Hijack City? Nowadays we say, oh, okay, you could be anything. You could be the president, bro. If you got to be the president in Hijack City, We lost. You know what I'm saying? Now, you didn't lose forever, and you lost for a reason, and that's your journey to figure out the reason that we've had to take the losses we've taken. Is it the harlotry? Is it the harlotry? If the Indians were just people, then they had to find their place or role in a secular world, not in a fanciful voyage to the Holy Land. Hasn't the Negro had to find his place, her place, his or her role in this world, not in your Holy Land? I mean, ain't they just talking about Negroes, right? So it has recently been shown Jefferson indicated that his decision to purchase the Louisiana territories from Napoleon was in part to find adequate space for secular Indians. Interesting. Negroes, right? He needed to find some more space to put these Indians that were not Christians yet, right? As they became part of the American polity. The Louisiana Purchase was for Jefferson a commitment that the United States would develop a secular redeemer nation. Wow. Solving the problems of mankind by reason and science and not as part of scriptural history. That's deep. Jefferson politically took the Indians out of divine history. So they got nothing to do with redemption and all that. And we don't need to convert them. We're just going to put them over here. We're just going to put them over here. American anthropology sought to do this scientifically. The so-called School of American Ethnography, headed by Dr. Samuel Morton of Philadelphia, examined the cranial history of various groups and tried to establish human racial differences in terms of capacity differences. And this is what we got before, that they're comparing Indians and Negroes. And he found that the Indians and the Negroes had lower cranial capacity than Caucasians and Asiatics. He also found that the Indians from Canada in the north to Terra Fuego, right? We're talking Antarctica, boss, in the south, and or had the same capacity. So all these Nagas got the same capacity everywhere they go. And seems that the Indians and the Negroes got the same cranium, right? The same cranial capacity. And this is what they did to sort of demoralize, right? We got that before, how they were demoralizing. The process of demoralization, they said, take about 3 generations. And he says these days it's fully complete. It's hard for you to see yourselves as superior. And the minute you do say that, somebody calls you some black supremacist and black supremacy and yada. They got a name and title already for you. As soon as you start to think that you could be better, it's okay if you think you worse, but don't think you better. Oh no. Oh no, boss. Oh man. Okay. A Mexican Jesuit, Alexo de Oriol, joyfully announced that this destroyed the Adamite theory. The Indians could be connected with the Chinese. Where's China? The Mongol. Who's the Mongol? Mongol means great one. All these are the same people. All these titles are you. You are the China. You are the Kana. You are in China, Managa. We got the maps. You are the Mongol, which means the great ones, who in turn has been connected to the descendants of survivors of Noah's Ark. Mortonism disconnected the Indians and Africans from scriptural history and left them to be dominated by Caucasians and the Asian. This is a meditated, premeditated, brainwash demoralizations, man. Morton's followers de-emphasized the scriptural basis of human history in exchange for so-called scientific factors. So now they're just going to lean on what they call science, the amount of pepper seed that can be held in the cranium. Come on, man. Morton paved the way for a secular racist account of the Indians and Negroes. Racism right now, Negroes and Indians are very much synonymous in the category of racism. Before such a view became predominant, at least in America, one more stage of the Jewish or Hebrew Indian view emerged, while Baudinot, Crawford, and other millenarians saw the Indians as the lost tribes. New evidence emerged, and two new theories were offered. One, that of the leading Jewish spokesman Mordecai Noah, the other by the founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith. Mormons digging deeper. The new evidence were some artifacts that were discovered. Okay, one, phylacteries that were found in an Indian burial mound in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Another, a Hebrew inscription outside New Milford, Connecticut. Connecticut, right? The third, a Hebrew tomb in Ohio, added to the alleged resemblances that Lord Kingsborough thought he had found in the Aztec codices to ancient Hebrew motifs. Lord Kingsborough published 9 folio volumes of the codices, magnificently illustrated with copious notes from Manasseh, Adair, and others to prove the Indians, especially those of Central America, were Hebrew. Although he bankrupted himself in the process of publishing the material, he convinced only the already convinced and became a laughingstock to others. The Hebrew inscription in New Milford was examined by America's greatest Christian Hebraist, Ezra Stiles, president of Yale, who guessed it was somebody's name. No one in the area could be found who was Jewish or who knew Hebrew, so a suggestive mystery remained. Wow. The phylacteries were a more exciting find when it was realized that these are used by a Jew in his morning prayers. The physical object was found around 1820, halfway down a pile of Indian bones in a burial mound. Because of the Hebrew letters contained in the object, Christian scholars from Harvard were consulted. And right quick, as we get back to that pyramid in Arizona/California, center of the world flow, and that big old mound that church is built on, go get part one. It's like they're getting all this funding to do all this. They're getting all this funding, like infinite funding for these 500-ton, one piece slabs of granite. Like these are all one big pieces of granite. Like these things cost a fortune, man. And he has how many of them? And pyramids and all this stuff. What are you hiding there? Is it just about a museum of this and this, or is that the cover? Are you hiding artifacts? Why would they give them so much donations to do all this stuff if it wasn't a big ass cover up to hide something? Something covert is going on. A big covert cover up. Something is underneath that stuff, man. There's got to be some access points to something underground there. I'm just saying. Because the Hebrew letters contained in the object, Christian scholars from Harvard were consulted who identified the object for what it was. But how did it get to where it was found? An extensive investigation was carried on to find out if any Hebrew traders had been in Pittsfield. If any captured British soldiers held there were Jewish, with negative results. Same thing with the Kalalus artifacts. They want to make up this Jewish Roman story about this Roman colony coming that are Jews, Romans that are Jews coming to America in 700, 800, 900. And they're fighting all these wars, and they're connected with Solomon the Builder and Sylvanus to Texas and all this, Israel the fourth, the fifth, the Quetzalcoatl, the Toltec, all that. They want us to believe that this colony was kicked off by some white people who are Romans that are also Jewish, that had a kingdom in America, that are the predecessors of the Toltec. Come on, man. So Jewish Romans are the predecessors of Toltecs. That's what they want us to believe. Jewish Romans, not Hebrew Romani. Remember, Roman comes from Rimmon. The Hebrew word Rimmon means pomegranate, which means promised land, right? The pomegranates were found by Joshua and Caleb to prove they were in the promised land, right? To Moses. So the pomegranates represent the promised land, which is the name Raman, which is the name Roman. All right. They want us to believe that these Romans are just some white modern day Romans from, Europe and all this stuff, man. Come on, man. Instead of us understanding that these are pomegranate promised land Romani that are Hebrew, not Jewish in America, that are native, indigenous, and this is why they are the predecessors of the Toltecs, Sylvanus Toltexus, Solomon the Builder. The Olmec flow connects to this. So in the same way that they want us to believe that these Jewish Romans are some colony of white people instead of Hebrew Romani, they're saying the same thing here. An extensive investigation was carried on to find out if any Jewish traders had been in Pittsfield. Jewish Romans had formed a colony in America. Same shit. If any captured British soldiers were Jewish that might have kicked off these artifacts. Stop it, man. These were Hebrews, native Indian superior, indigenous Nagas, black people, okay? So-called African Americans, this is your artifacts. They wanted to attribute it to a British soldier who could have been captured. Stop it. Jewish traders, cut it. Some colony of Romans, get out of here, boss. You out of bounds. You in violation. The great Jewish convert, Reverend Joseph Frey, who gave 30,000 sermons in America. Damn. 30,000 sermons. Missionaries, right, said he had never spoken in Pittsfield, and the phylacteries were not his. The literature of the period indicates that this discovery was taken very seriously as pointing to the possibility that the Indians were Hebrew. Yeah. No other explanation could be found for the phylacteries being where they were found. The item was deposited with the Massachusetts Historical Society for further study. By now, when some of us would like to see what was discovered, however, the item has been lost. Come on, man. Now they lost this thing, and we can't even examine it no more. The late Rabbi author Kiel, who wrote an article on the matter and turned up a lot of literature, some rather incredible in the period 1820 to 1825 on the subject, also found that the phylacteries had been in the Antiquarian Society of Worcester, Massachusetts, but that they had disappeared, boss. Disappeared. The tomb is interesting, but also unlocatable. The important American historian Hubert Howe Bancroft, in his History of the Native Races of America, presented a chapter on the origins of Indians, setting out the prevailing theories. The Jewish Indian theory was taken up and disowned by Bancroft, but it was described as having strong evidence in its favor. The evidence consisted of the phylacteries and the tomb. The latter, Bancroft, was discovered by his father, a minister in Ohio. It had Hebrew inscriptions, Hebrew and American Managa, indicating it was from the 1st or 2nd centuries. Kalelu. Bancroft's father deposited it in a local historical society from whence it seems to have disappeared, boss. Disappeared. So all your stuff has disappeared, when you want to get a closer look at it. And this is supporting the fall of what they're calling this Jewish Indian theory. And definitely dig on a view of the Hebrews or the tribes of Israel in America, man. Who's that with Ethan Smith? So I think I said James Adair last time, but yeah, look at all those documents because all these are researchers and they ain't over here being a part of the majority. This is the minority report, man. This is those that are being swept under the rug, you know what I'm saying? And it all has to do with the origins of you Nagas. right here. They got scholars from Harvard and Yale trying to figure this out. Everybody trying to figure out who you are, Manaka. Who you are, man. So, wow. All right, let's belly flop into Enter the Stars. Get back in this interesting children's book. $500. And it was written by the dude that is responsible for building this pyramid in Arizona/California. It's right on the border, basically. And they call this the center of the world. The center of the world. You see that mound in the background. Their cover story is that he just needed a hill, so he brought in 150,000 tons of dirt to make a hill. Stop it, boss. I need a hill for my church. I need 150,000 tons of dirt. Ooh, that's a bar. I need a hill for my church. I need 150,000 tons of dirt. Hey, look out for us, man. Center of the world, they say. World, Craig. The world. All right, let's get it. Into the Stars, man. We appreciate you. We've been, always appreciating the work of Into the Stars for years and years and years. So we'll do this, get some comments, man, and we out of here. We out here, man. Hey, after all my knockers contributing to Joy World, please continue contributing. Click the link below as we build from Navel. Shalom.
But for now, we need to get through this book, Co, the Dragon at the Center of the World. And these end pages say it all.
Dragon, man.
A circle of dragons eating their own tail. The Ouroboros. Now, also, there's an occult date in the pages here. May 22nd, 1952, if I could zoom on this correctly. May 22nd, 1952. What's up with the occult date? 5/22. Well, May 22nd, 5/22 has 223 days left in the year. That's 223, which is 322 backwards. So it forms like a bizarre mirror, right? And look at this. 5/22 and then 1952. So there's another 5/2. So there's something to this. Now, these pages are in no particular order.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tags page by page or all in one go. Modify your URLs, inspect all of them in one click, and more. Save time, customize freely. With SEO on Wix.
Hijack City, my bad.
But here's what else I found disturbing. A map of Wuhan, China at the center. We'll get into that page as well, with the longitudinal line running right through Wuhan.
Whoa.
China.
Whoa.
This was 1984, you guys. There's also talk of dragons kissing children on the cheek, which is also somewhat disturbing. Let's get into some of these pages, you guys. Now, the book starts off here. Here's the May 22nd, 1982. It's a letter from the author and the builder of Felicity. And as you can see here, text and illustrations, 1984. So I'm not trying to stretch this just to fit the 1984. There it is, right there. We're going to go through these pages. I have not actually sat down and went through this page by page. I took the highlights. So we're going to get through this book together today. And if there's anything I miss, please put it in the comments section. Let's back up here. It says, to Supervisor Abe, whatever, with best wishes from the Good Dragon and from their human ambassador, Jay. So, the author and builder, Felicity, is calling himself,
and that's a plural, so it says the good dragons. Who's calling themselves good dragon?
the human ambassador to the good dragon. This looks like the red, white, and blue of America. The dragon is represented with the spiral tail. And after great adventures told in the quest of Co, that's weird. Co emerged one night breathing fire, clawing the ground, exercising his wings, and looking at the stars. Let's count these spikes on his back. 1, 2, because there's always clues in the numbers, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that kind of lines up with the 522 and the date. The man called Jay was there. You, Jay, said Co, are our human ambassador. So, he was selected by the dragon. This is crazy, you guys. What a creepy story. Published and printed in the United States by Bluebird Press. Whittemore, California, 9395. This is just the in papers here. Remember, this was 1984. Keep reading here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hills. That lines up with the 522 date. Dragons like warm places. Long ago, when families settled at the very middle of the hold on. Let's back up here. Dragons like warm places long ago when there were still dinosaurs on the surface. Co's family settled at the very middle of the earth, and they have been there ever since. Now look at this. That almost looks suggestive there with these two dinosaurs, and then Co goes down with his family to the center of the earth. Now, you guys have long since known that my theory on all this is that the Book of Enoch says that the fallen ones sinned against reptiles and animals. And I believe what that word sinned against means is they genetically modified the animals of the pre-flood era. And in doing that, they created these massive dinosaurs. Why? Well, so they could hunt them and eat them. Look at the two needles they're using here. 2 needles to basically do knitting. But in this case, I think we all know what this is really about. It's got a 66 on its pineal position, like the mark, possibly, on that one particular dragon. I can't read that. Dragon something, that's something, I can't read the rest of that. But also this almost appears to be a bunch of inverted 666s if you were wanting to make that connection. Let's keep going here. Co's father was a scholarly and ceremonial dragon. His presence was required at all weddings, funerals, baptisms, and public occasions. He breathed fire fiercely, hence his books were fireproof. Whoa. So, the ruler of this world, the Bible tells us who it is. It's the devil. And it appears as though when the flood happened, that great dragon found himself in the valleys and mountains of the earth, which is exact.
But let's be clear. When they say center of the earth, remember, this pyramid is supposed to be at the center of the world, right? So are they talking about the center, like, of the flat plane, such as a location, like where they're at, Felicity, so to speak, or are they talking about the middle of the ball, right? So those are two different perspectives.
Exactly what the Book of Enoch says happened to these dragons and spirits that were locked into the center of the earth, or into, it says, the valleys and mountains of the earth. And it says in Enoch that when that happened, sulfur was created, and this particular sulfur is what powered the hot springs. And then there's a prophecy in the Book of Enoch that says that when these hot springs grow cold, then that means that these entities have been released to judgment. Not released to run free, but released for a judgment. So far this book's pretty accurate, isn't it? Look at all these books that this Co's father was in charge of. Ceremonial dress, weddings, dragon lore, dragon peerage.
But dragons don't exist.
I don't know what that is. Family photos, contracts, world history, legal history. So the whole legal system.
Yep.
The dragon was in charge of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's read about Co's mother. Can't get this Zoom right. Sorry, guys. Co's mother was, can't read that, dragon lady, 1/2 fiery puff from her left nostril. Can't read that. Baited bread that a French cook would envy. Baked bread that a French cook would envy. At the same time, she would bake a pie with her right nostril, but she only did that when no one was looking. She instructed Co that dragons, and particularly dragon ladies, never show off. So she's baking with her hot breath. Keep going here. Co was often bored and restless. He needed a mission. One day he consulted
Hijack City. Come on, man. Come on, man. I got you. I gotta stay close. Hijack creep any second, man. Any second. Baking stuff.
wisest and oldest dragon. Wad lived in a deep cave near a river of lava. One could hardly see through the steam. Co knocked and waited respectfully. Come in, said Wad. I have been expecting you. I wonder what that's about. Omala Viticus, Opoxy Malongo, Wangala Butterping, Frobisher Zingo, come to dinner right away. Dragons have long names, said Wad. Your mother calls you, and then they spell it all out here. It is a bit clumsy when called to dinner, but your name is now Co. It stands for Center of the World, and it is a prophecy. Oh boy, the plot thickens. Now, it's weird because Center of the World is not the acronym for Center for COE, right? COE would be Center of Earth, but they keep saying Center of World. But let's take a closer look at this name that Co originally had. Remember, this was 1984. Omala Viticus Opoxy Molongo. Now this sounds like gibberish, and it may be, but maybe there's something else in here. Wangala Butterping Frobisher Zingo. So I'm going to have to run this through an anagram finder to see if there's any scrambled words in here. But that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's keep going here.
Whoa, hold on.
As what words in here?
You don't need no anagram, man. All right, man. I'm just, we're just surfing away, man. With the Oma Leviticus, I mean, you already see it, Leviticus, man. I mean, Oma, something with that, but I see the LA in Leviticus, man. I don't know, man. Your mother calls you Leviticus. We know that they're using Leviticus to do a lot of their spell magic. Let's go.
But that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's keep going here. As Wad said the word prophecy, the ground shook and rumbled, and lightning flashed. You will climb to the surface and emerge at the official center of the earth. You will name and establish the official center of the world. That is your request, said Wad. Oh boy. Look at the glasses. Octagons, 88 in the glasses. Let's zoom this up a little bit. How will I know where to go exactly, asked Ko. The center of the world is a place of the spirit, as well as a fixed point, said Wad. So, they've got pioneers here. Fresh air, what's on here? 327, oh boy. So you got the number of the beast, which is 237 on the biplane. They're cutting down trees, which is also from the Book of Enoch. It says the angels labored at the trees. And we thought that those might be tree portals. A place of the spirit. There's a hot air balloon, so there's your helium. It is in a place, after all. You are a dragon. It is named for happiness, a desire of all creatures, and a gift of God, earned and kept only by the hard work and virtue. And that is actually what the name Felicity means. It means like happiness. But there's also a dark meaning to it, or an alternate meaning. We won't call it a dark meaning. We are in the year of the cat, and the name Felicity also doubles for the name feline. It has the pioneer spirit. The air is always clean. It has a human ambassador who understands dragons. It welcomes all humans who work hard and protect their families. Wow. Finally, Wad said, you will know the exact spot by your likeness. On with your quest. It will be difficult and dangerous. Good luck and good courage. Argolex next megatour. This is a solemn dragon blessing and encouragement. Oh boy. Now what is this by your likeness? Well, when you go into Google Earth, you can almost make out some kind of bizarre dragon-like feature in the landscape. Maybe we'll look at that at the end of the show here. Let's keep going. Ko thanked Wad, then he studied and studied and studied and studied. He memorized maps of the surface and found in a warm part of a great free country the Chocolate Mountains. Dragons, like ourselves, like chocolate. So, you studied all the maps. You got France, Ireland, Mexico. But look at how China is broke apart here on its own side of the page with Wuhan at the center.
Come on, man. Come on, Enter the Stars. What you got, like a super advertising package, man? You get $1,000 a video? Come on, bruh. Come on, man. It's just not getting good to us, man. A few more minutes.
Felicity. And it shows a dragon statue here. And this is where they decided to build. It says, While reading the Dragon Times, Co saw...
I'm just thinking that 150,000 tons of dirt they said they brought in for that hill just to put the church on top. What did they cover up, if that's the case? What did they cover up?
that near the Chocolate Mountains, a pioneer named J was building a house at a place named Felicity. This means happiness, and there was the likeness of Co. This is it, said Co. Eureka. He set forth. Co says goodbye to his parents. Co then said to J, only you can speak to dragons. Bring me questions from human beings. Only you can find me and enter my secret place. I need privacy for a few hundred years. I can fly at night when no one sees me. My scales reflect radar. Wow. Center of the world. After studying the stars, Co said, I declare officially to all humans and dragons that here at Felicity, California is the official center of the earth. And here at Felicity, California is also the official center of the world. UJ will build a monument at this very spot. And that's exactly what he did. And here's the creepy part. I send a kiss. Be sure to let it cool to each boy and each girl on earth. And dear children of all ages, as you go to sleep at night, you can feel on your cheek the warm and gentle kiss of Co, the good dragon, at the center of the world. The end.
Creepy.
How creepy is that?
Creepy.
The story is dedicated to children of all ages. Forthcoming, The Quest of Co. Adventures on the Way to the Surface, as well as Phoebe and Co. Visiting the world. Jay, the author, is the human ambassador to the dragons. TKS, the illustrator, lives in Scarsdale, New York, with her husband and 2 children.
All right, man. So what do y'all think? I'm going to leave a link. He's going to go in and do some Google Earth stuff as well. Try to find some, anomalies that might be dragon-like, man, around this area. And you could do the same thing, man. As he says, Co. I got to think about Aquata Bazan, because she dropped in the copper thread, man. Hey, out to the cons and the copper thread, man. They just keep it going, man. And man, we wouldn't be here, man, without the copper thread. So, AHOP to, those in the copper thread and the drop chatter box. AHOP everybody, man. Just in the comments, we're going to get some of that on the way out. Co, C-O-E. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Aqua Tabeza. It's a 91-page document. I'm going to leave it here for you. Tell me what it do. But there is a Michael D. Co. Yeah, it could be nothing, could be something, right? But, hey, I mean, we're investigating. This is an investigation after all. And he has everything to do with indigenous culture. Right? He has everything to do with these secrets, with this deciphering, breaking the code, the Maya code. 1950s archaeologist Michael Co. was one of the pioneer investigators of the Olmec civilization. Wow. Wow, Aquata Batsa. Big wow. So is Co center of the world? Is it center of Earth? Is it, referring to this Co families? And how does this cat got the drop on breaking down the Maya code? How does this cat Co have the drop on investigation of Olmec civilization? Because that's the drop. He later made major contributions to Maya epigraphy and iconography. In more recent years, he has studied the Khmer, Khmer, civilization of Cambodia. That's going to connect to some Hebrew cons, right? He is the Charles J. McCurdy professor of anthropology, emeritus at Yale, so he's all the way up in it. So the Felicity dude, I'm saying, the dude that built the Felicity town, he he's way up there in the Princeton flow. This guy's way up there in the Yale flow. We're reading about all these Harvard people trying to decipher the Jewish Indian theory, right? Like, we got Harvard, we got Yale, we got Princeton, and it's all about you. It's all about indigenous people. It's all about the Israelites, Managa. It's all about the Naga. And it's all about dragons, which is crazy, right? What does Cole got to do with the good dragon? Yeah, he discusses writing systems, origin of Maya writing, role of writing and scribes in Maya culture, the status of Maya writing at the time of the Spanish conquest, the impact for good and ill of Bishop Landa, the persistence of scribal activity in the books of Kalam Balam. Right, we got that book in the drop library. Early exploration in Maya region. All right, man. Maya Corpus Project, Constantine. Like, it's a lot going on. He seems to have a lot of drop. Carnegie? Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah, all right. So, before I even get too deep into it, man, I'm going to leave it right here for y'all. Just know when we talk Cole and this dragon, Managa, there is a Cole. All right? And it has everything to do with America, Ame'rican history, Ame'rican history, and the Maya code. All right, code has everything to do with this code over here, right? Deciphering and breaking the code. Lastly, man, on the way out the door, on the way out the door. Yeah. All right, yeah, this is, hey, I'll begin to your great comments, man. Shout out Isaiah Brown. When one is confronted, let me get it bigger, get it bigger. When one is confronted with their unnatural actions, this brings forth tremendous emotions, giving one the sense of being stripped, not of the flesh, but of spirit, mind, breath. Khan is out of here. Khan is popping off. M.H.O.E, amazing drop, body bags for days, charged up, ready to go. Ahajah, Sherman Brooks, one of the Rockefellers bought this and renamed it after his wife Felicity, which could also be a cover-up, right? Because it could mean something else. So it's something fishy, yeah, man, giant sea fish type fishy, man, Leviathan type fishy. Michael Brown said, thanks for following up on the drop of the center of the world. Hey, thank y'all, man, because I do it for y'all. Halal HaWah. Junior Chavez said, Indians were the ancient Hebrews, not Ashkenazim. Nazi, seems like Nazi, but let's go. Michael Levi's Four Corners Monument Oppenheimer Ranch Project showed how it's at the center of Caldera. The Caldera takes up about 1/4 of each state. That's as big as a volcano. Tri Point Monument is the center of a bigger one. Halal HaWah, Michael Levinsky. Baruchan Humankeo. Hamak Kale. That's dope. Missionary is definitely a Greek word. He got his thinking emoji. Bodukane, Pink Dime said, great job, my boy. I appreciate the education, man. We appreciate you, Con. Let's get it, man. Emmanuel says, nothing quenches your thirst like that water. Hey, Tracy, Mama T said, what's the name of the video with the Ivy League school drop? Forgot the name of it, but it's in there. You know what I'm saying? We did it. You just got to surf the wave. But it had a lot to do with the Harvard Indian schools and how a lot of these Ivy League schools are Indian schools and burying grounds, man. Straight up. BOW said, man, drop you on it. Hey, we on it, man. Charles Johnson, peace, educate, man. Hey, peace to the con, man. Amaro con, man. Hey, it's all happening. Get a few more, man. Daughter of Zion said, Shalom, what are you listening to in the background? Would you post a link? Oh, it's that, it was some great 432 type of bells, man. I don't have that right now, but we're gonna bring that back for a stack. I got you. William Scruggs said it's working now. Okay, yeah, because sometimes when we first drop that, like the audio, or they try to cut the audio, so you just got to keep reloading, man. Tabad Zahn said, hey, drop, keep your foot on their neck bone. Halal HaWah. And shout out to Aqua Ty, the inspiration behind the Soul Bone podcast, where a con could be a con and have a conversation, man. So we still filming the Soul Bone podcast. We're going to let you know soon on how you could be a greater part of that. How you could be a producer, exec produce it, man. We're going to need a big budget because we're going to do some traveling and, really connect this calm business in real time as we, travel to different places, different sites, different things, man, have great conversations. So we want it to be as big as you want it to be. And anybody that got a big bag that's like, yo, man, I'm looking for somewhere to put this, man. Soulbone Podcast will be a great opportunity to produce, something that will be epic for the community and something memorable, you know what I'm saying, and impacting, you know what I mean? So just look out for the ways to become a producer, to, support in all the ways, for the Soulbone Podcast, man, where a con could be a con and have a conversation. Hey, CJ Battle, take the wheel. Hey, I'm CJ Battle. Arise and Love said it could just be me, but there's no audio. That's when I said reload, because that's what they do to us, man. We got to fight for this. And lastly, man, Kim King said, did you ring a bowl, bro? She liking them 432 bowls, man. All right. Dragon rules, man. All right, we up, man. Oh yeah, Chantrell said, keep your foot on their necks with this drop. Okay, a couple of niggas want me to keep my foot on the hijack city neck bone, put pressure on there, or till it stops pulsating. Let's get her done, man. She out of here, man. Because we out of here, man. Don't keep surfing away with you, because we know Managa, you surfing away with us. And, again, AIB to enter the star for that breakdown, because I couldn't find no other breakdowns, synopsises, and nothing on this cold good dragon at the center of the world drop. But now we see clearly, and I say mighty creepy. But you know what, man? It gets kind of creepy when you return. Your eyes are open, you see things, for the first time in a long time. You got that 360 dragon, a flit-eye perspective. And I'm going to get out of here, man, with some Hosea. How's that? Jeremiah. Let's get Jeremiah for the dismount. You got all these witnesses so that we are not confused. When they talk about returning, we talking about returning. We're talking about Khan, David, that we seek after we seek HaWah. After we seek the Creator, we seek Daweh, because it's natural to seek your nobility again after you KTC. It's perfect order. Most High over everything. Please keep hitting up the M.H.O.E. We'll keep updating it. We got some great updates coming tomorrow and before Shabbat. Some great deals. So stay plugged in, tune in to M.H.O.E. Look out for Yosef the Real's album dropping soon. Eat the Squad Up. Look out for the radio shows to come back to finish the fifth wave even hotter, man. And the water for your patience, man. Y'all be getting real fluty at 432 The Drop Radio. And it's about to be on comb and go way up, man. So the water for your patience for that too. Hey. Verse 4, these are the words that HaWah spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus says HaWah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask you now and see whether a man does travail with child. Why you crying, man? You pregnant or something? Wherefore do I see every man? Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins? As a woman in travail. Hey, Managa, you pregnant or something? Why you crying like this? Why you breaking down like this? And all the faces are turning to paleness. Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And it is a time of trouble unto Jacob. You're going through trouble. You need more money. You need more health. You need more peace, right? It is a time of trouble. You need security. You need more breath. God, you need HaWah. HaWah is your savior. HaWah is your savior. HaWah is your only savior. but out of it shall he be saved. And it shall come to pass in that day, says HaWah, that I will break his yoke from off your neck. I ain't sending JC to do it. I ain't sending Yahweh to do it. I will break the yoke. I will free you. I will save you. I will burst your bands so that you're free. And strangers, these hijacks, these invaders, shall no more make you they slave, man, bondman, but they shall serve the Creator and King David, their king, whom I will. Say what? Shalak, David, their king, whom I will raise up unto them. David will be raised up, but not until you save yourself and keep the code. You get back in code, you get back in frequency for your community, for our unity. We rest together, we Shabbat it up, we Shabbat up together. We stop killing each other, stop stealing from each other, love each other, man, right? Keep the code. All that is Ahab. You giving Ahab, you giving love. If you listening, Most High over everything, then you can seek Daweh. Then David will be raised up unto you, unto us, one shepherd forever. The good dragon. The good dragon isn't cold. The good dragon is a code keeper. And you can't have a center of the world on a ball. Hey, it's orientation pies, man. Hey, Halal HaWah, stay up, suit up, choose up.